this is my review of Venom: The Last Dance. Now this is supposed to be the third and final movie in the Venom trilogy, so you're expecting a lot, an epic conclusion, a fitting into the character and all that, and you get some of that in the end, but most of the movies, no, there's not a lot happening. Now let's get to the story. Basically, there's a creature called Null who was trapped by a bunch of symbiotes in another dimension a long time ago, and the only way he can get freed is with a key, a specific key that can only be unlocked when a symbiote saves a human, which Venom doesn't in the first movie. So you see Null sending a bunch of creatures to go after Venom to get the key. So they encounter a creature in the beginning, Venom and Eddie, so they decide to run, and the only way they can stay safe is Venom doesn't come out. So because the creatures can't see him. So most of the movie they just run about, not doing anything, not really much action, not really a lot of fighting, just hanging out around. It's almost like a bromance movie. They do more talking than fighting in this movie, talking with each other, that is. Now another subplot is there's a group of scientists in a lab in Area 51 which contains a bunch of symbiotes, and all the symbiotes are saying that Null is sending creatures and Venom must be protected. And yeah, so realizing this, the military goes after Eddie Brock to capture him and kill him and Venom. So they're running from the military as well as the aliens. So it's mostly about running in this movie. Now, I'm not saying it was completely boring, but considering this third movie, we want a bigger and better storyline. Maybe having Null show up in the movie, that would have been great. A super powerful bad guy that Venom's fighting, unlike the last two movies where Venom was just fighting other symbiotes. Venom hasn't really gotten a different kind of opposition yet, which is disappointing. And he's not getting much in this one either. It's just a bunch of military guys and a bunch of alien monsters that don't really think going after him. So yeah, that's disappointing to say the least. And then there's the scientist in the lab. She has a small backstory, something about her brother dying, and she has some sort of compassion for the symbiotes. But the main commander of the military doesn't. He wants them all dead. So yeah, that's all that it is about the other characters. And you see the old lady from the shop that Venom always goes to when they end up in Vegas because they're on the run and they thought they have some fun. And yeah, there's a small dance montage between Venom and her, and he comes out to dance with her even though he shouldn't. I don't know why he did that, but because of that, the monsters track him down. And they attack. But at the same time, the military also shows up because they were tracking him as well. And then both Venom and Eddie get separated, and they both get taken to the military facility in Area 51. Now, the final scenes is a lot of fighting. A lot of aliens show up. Alien monsters show up, and all the symbiotes get released. And we see different types of symbiotes from the comics. And they all fight the monsters, but they end up getting killed pretty quickly, which is disappointing. And Venom fighting the monsters as well. It's basically a team of symbiotes versus a team of monsters fighting in Area 51, which was okay, but a bit disappointing. Like I said, Null should have showed up in the end to fight. But because where the storyline was projected, he couldn't do that. So yeah, the symbiotes kill the monsters kill the symbiotes, and by the end, there's just a few monsters and a Venom left. And Venom sacrifices himself in order to save Eddie by absorbing the monsters and then having himself get blown up by a military bomb. So that's the way his story ends. He cares so much about his human partner that he wants to sacrifice himself for him. It's a bit heartbreaking, but I think Venom deserved a better end. So yeah, the story ends. Eddie Brock's apparently free to do whatever he wants. All his past crimes that he committed with Venom have been forgiven by the military, so he can start a new life. So that's where, so we see Eddie just going to the places where Venom wanted to go with him. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. I really wanted him to end up in the MCU and face Spider-Man or fight along Spider-Man or something like that. So yeah, that was and plus they teased it as well at the end of the previous movie, but nothing came of it. Now I think that's because some issues with the studio. Apparently they're not planning on making any more Spider-Verse character movies anymore. That's maybe the reason. And they still control Venom. Yeah. They own the rights to Venom, so that might be the reason. But I really would have liked to see him fight Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, or any of the other Spider-Mans, honestly, because in the multiverse. And he actually showed up in Tom Holland's universe. He could have done that, but they decided to go another way. So yeah, overall, it's an okay movie, but it could have been better. So that's my review of Venom: The Last Dance.